whatever it takes, 60 minutes, leave it on the field. I know when your number's called, you're going to go out and make plays. Let's go. Playmakers on 3. 1, 2, 3. Playmakers.
Hey, fellas, we need this one. Hey, let's go get this dub. Hey, family together. Squad on 3. 1, 2, 3. Squad.
Well, they called Detroit the Motor City, and the Vikings were firing on all cylinders today, getting their third straight win with a 42-30 victory over the Detroit Lions. Welcome to Vikings Postgame alongside Ron Johnson. I'm Hobie Artigue. And Ron, a great day for the Vikings, especially on offense.
Yeah, I mean, it was good to see Kirk Cousins do what he said he was going to do, play with an edge. There was nobody talked in the media about Kirk Cousins sucked, and he still threw for over 300 yards. He's a guy that's done something that nobody's ever done in NFL history.
Yep.
That's 300 yards passing 3 times in a row and over 130 passer rating. Nobody's ever done that. That's the reason why you pay the man the money.
And here's some highlights of how the Vikings got it done today. Kirk Cousins just letting it fly. 300-plus passing yards. And let's show you how they got it done. The Vikings firing to start off this game. Huge pass to Adam Thielen on the second drive of the game. 25 yards downfield. Just a great throw, Ron.
That's another roll left, throw right, and I'm like, that's his throw now. Thielen makes a great catch. Yes, he got hurt, but that's a great catch there.
Yeah, Adam Thielen left the game with a hamstring injury, did not return. The Lions would lead it again, but the Vikings tied again. Thielen's replacement, Olabisi Johnson, in the end zone for his first touchdown.
Nobody was expecting the rookie to make that catch, so I said put Diggs in that spot, but that was a great play call by Stefanski.
All right, then right before the half, the outside zone gets the Vikings in the end zone. Dalvin Cook rumbling ahead. The Vikings take a 21-14 lead, their first lead of the game.
Yeah, and he wasn't touched until 5 yards down the field, so the offensive line, give them credit. That was all offensive line. Yes, Dalvin Cook got in there, but the offensive line deserves the credit on that one.
But we were tied up 21-21 at half, but here comes the hammer. C.J. Ham, his first touchdown reception. The Vikings retake the lead, Ron. Gotta like to see your fullback making big catches.
Hey, first carry of the game, first touchdown of his career, and now he gets a game ball finally.
Lovely. The offense spreading the love. Fourth quarter, what a game for Kyle Rudolph. He's been blocking so much this year. There his first touchdown grab.
Yeah, and he said he was frustrated for the last 6 weeks not being in offense. Well, here you go. And then hopefully next week, even more for the tight end.
All right, the Lions cut the lead to 5, but time for the chef to provide a little dessert. Some sweet moves from Dalvin Cook into the end zone. He goes his second TD of the day. Also 140-plus rushing yards for Cook. What a day for Dalvin.
And I like the team picture. We always see defenses do this.
Yeah.
The offense finally with the team picture.
All right, well, Matthew Stafford picked on the secondary for most of the day, but how about this one? Trey Waynes 2 feet in, and that sealed the game for the Vikings. They walk away from Detroit with a 42-30 win. Ron?
Defensive backs get all the bad rap about not being able to catch, but hey, he showed the toe drag swag there, and he made the catch on the sideline. So I got to give it to the Michigan State
emergency wide receiver, perhaps.
I don't know about that. Mike Hughes would be my first choice.
All right, speaking of wide receivers, Adam Thielen knocked out of the game with that hamstring injury. He seems optimistic that it's going to be a quick recovery, but hamstrings, Ron, they can be tricky to deal with.
Yeah, Darius Slay, as you saw, has been dealing with a hamstring. He came in the first half and then went out after that. You don't want to play around with a hamstring. I think he can miss the Redskins game and they'll be fine with the production we saw. So I think giving him a full 10 to 15 days of rest and then maybe the Chiefs or the Chargers game.
And here's Thielen after the game on the offense's performances with him in the mix and also without him in there.
Today I was able to see those guys just hit people in the mouth and going downhill and delving, breaking tackles. You know, those are the things I don't see in a game when I'm playing receiver. But when I'm on the sideline, I was able to see those guys just breaking tackles and carrying guys and getting 5-6 yards on every run. And then just some of the throws Kirk was able to make with pressure in his face, things like that you just don't normally see, but very impressive.
When Kirk pulls the ball back in, it's like everybody's still jumping it now. It's so effective right now, right?
Yeah, for sure, and I think that's what we talked about 4 weeks ago when we were frustrated. You have to have a balanced attack. You have to be able to do both because it opens up everything. You know, when we're able to throw the ball and move it that way, it opens up the ability to run the ball. And when we're able to run the ball and we're able to pound it, it opens up the ability to throw the ball. So everything feeds off each other in this offense, and we need to continue to do that moving forward.
And was the hamstring bad enough that you felt like there's no way I can go back in, or do you feel like you had a chance?
Well, it's a tough question because I always feel like I can play. So, but at the same time, you know, I trust our guys, and I trust their opinion, and I'm you know, I'm just here to try to help this team win and do whatever they tell me to do, and they have my best interest in hand, and I'm going to trust that, and hopefully we can get it back and ready to go for Thursday.
When you have a short week, how much does that change the thinking about whether you're not going to go back in today?
Whether I'm going to go back in today?
Yeah.
Well, it changes it. I mean, yeah, you definitely go in and get treatment today and do what you can. You know, you try to get as much extra treatment as you possibly can leading into a short week.
Was that temporary wall, you know, there's less distance now because of temporary wall. Is that any kind of factor? Because the other side, the other end zone has more room, I understand.
Yeah, I mean, that had nothing to do with my injury. All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
And without one of the top targets, other Vikings had to step up, and boy, did they ever. How about Olabisi Johnson getting some serious action today? 4 catches, 40 yards, and that touchdown from the 7th-round draft pick. Also, Kyle Rudolph. He was kind of silent to start off this season. Oh, not in Detroit. No surprise, he had a Hail Mary catch last year. Yeah. Another big day today, 5 catches, 58 yards, and also a score. And let's not forget about Stephon Diggs. Big catch at the end of the game, 66 yards downfield to pretty much seal it. Part of a 142-yard performance for number 14. But Ron, let's talk about Kyle Rudolph a little bit. Coming into this game, he had 9 catches on the season. Today, 5 for 58 yards. And let's not forget that score. What stood out about Kyle to you?
Well, the fact that he's been just doing his job for the past 6 weeks. He said he's not the best blocker, and he's been known as not the best blocker, but he's involved in the run game this year. He enjoys it now.
He's embracing it.
Exactly, and he's doing a good job of it. Well, today you saw the Rudy that we know can make catches in traffic, can make a catch with somebody hanging on his body, uses his 6'6" frame to have that catch radius, and Kirk Cousins relied on him today because Thielen was out.
How about BC Johnson, 7th-round draft pick? Not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like a true third down, number 3 wide receiver, and he stepped up today in the number 2 spot. There was no drop-off, 8 targets, and so Kirk Cousins trusted him out the gate. There was no question that he was not going to go to BC Johnson. I think that even surprised the Lions because when Thielen went out, you saw a lot of bracketing. Darius Slay right away went from Thielen to Diggs when Thielen went out, and BC Johnson picked up where Diggs left off.
He stepped right in, did BC Johnson, and he caught the attention of a lot of people. As you're going to see on Twitter, somebody said it might be a BC Johnson coming out party. I think we can call it that.
It was. He got his first touchdown. He had a big day of targets. And now going into this short week, Kirk Cousins knows he has a guy he can rely on. So his 1 and 2 are going to be Diggs and BC coming out the gate against the Redskins.
And here's more from Olabisi Johnson, Stephon Diggs, and also Kyle Rudolph after their big performances.
Johnson, over 500 yards of offense today. Talk about the rhythm you guys got into.
It was great. You know, everybody was on their stuff, and we just went out there and played football.
Your touchdown was a big play in the game. Walk us through it.
You know, I knew I was going to have an opportunity to get the ball. I was going to motion over, and if it was man, they were going to have to send him over top when I came back underneath. So I knew it was coming my way from the start.
I'm just so proud of this team, of our offense to come out here and battle for 60 minutes. You know, last night in our meeting, Kevin said, whoever plays harder longer will win. And, you know, we knew that we were going to go against a physical, stout defense for 60 minutes. And it took everybody. You know, Adam goes down, unfortunately, early in the game, and the tight ends were called upon today. So Irv played really well. I'm so proud of him. And Conk came in and doing a lot of heavy lifting in the run game and pass pro as well. So just an all-around team effort today and a really big game for us.
Stephon, you see someone like BC get his first touchdown, and then Rudy and and CJ have been blocking. What's it like to see them rewarded?
Especially for the guys who work extremely hard. BC's one of his first games, and he stepped up and he caught a touchdown, so it's a big one for him. You're happy for him. And CJ Ham, he grinds a lot. He does a lot of work for Dalvin. So as far as him scoring a touchdown, you're happy for those guys. And Kyle hasn't touched the end zone in a while, so just always getting up for those guys and being happy for your teammates. That's what this game is about.
And we'll hear from the quarterback, Kirk Cousins, in just a little bit. Also, head coach Mike Zimmer. But, man, Stephon Diggs turned on the Jets today. during that 66-yard catch that brought the Vikings within striking distance to put away that dagger of a touchdown. Here's how fast he was whenever you look at the NFL Next Gen stats. Stephon Diggs hitting 21.2 miles per hour on that big catch downfield, just behind Leonard Fournette. But, man, he also pumped the brakes when he needed to, too, on that play.
Yeah, I thought he was going to score. I was hoping he scored. I needed those points today. But, yeah, no, he had a good day. And it was good to see Kirk Cousins again continue to roll left, throw right. That's his throw. He's able to roll to his left and still make on-point, target, deep throws. 2nd down and 6. That was a cool call by Stefanski.
So many big numbers from the Vikings today. The biggest one, though, 42-30, the final score. They win over the Lions. And here's head coach Mike Zimmer in the locker room after that big win.
Good victory today. We fought our rear ends off. Yeah, it's a hell of a job. Ran the ball. We had 140 yards receiving with Diggs. We had 140 yards rushing with Cookie. Okay? That's a hell of a job, fellas. All right?
Both had 142.
And another 300-yard passing performance for Kirk Cousins that makes 3 in a row, the first time he's done so in 3 straight games since 2015. And when you look at his scatter chart, he was throwing the ball all over the place into different players all across the field, Ron.
Yeah, and the cool thing to see that, the under 10-yard throws. I talked about the quick game. Under 10-yard throws, called 3-step drop passes. That gives Kirk Cousins easy chances to make completions and guys to run after the catch. We saw Stephon Diggs with the shallow route, and he got his own first down. We saw Rudy with the shallow, and he got a touchdown. So I like Stefanski now starting to mix that in versus the first 2-3 weeks of the season.
And Kirk Cousins likes his performance as well as his entire offense, too. Here's from the quarterback after the game.
Okay, I'll just start by saying I thought it was a great team win. I thought our offense did a phenomenal job of being balanced all game long, moving the football a variety of ways and using a variety of skilled players to do that. I thought we were well protected. I believe there were no sacks, and that's a big deal. And I just thought we handled, the adversity of going on the road and all that comes with that, and getting down early. And I was proud of the character of our football team. I thought it was a great game, and I expected it to be a tough one to come out with. I thought this team had, going into the game, could have very easily been undefeated with the way they had lost, and so have a lot of respect for them. And so the fact that we were able to go on the road and get a win is a big deal, and we're going to enjoy this one.
Sorry. To put have your highest offensive output with losing Adam, what does that say just kind of as in general about this offense?
Yeah, I think it's a credit to our other players, starting with Diggsy stepping up, Olabisi Johnson, Irv Smith, Kyle Rudolph did a great job. Even Tyler Conklin, we really called on him quite a bit in protection. And, when you run the football well, it also takes pressure off of that loss. And, Treddy stepped up and did a great job getting lined up in some unique formations. And, just really proud of the way those guys responded and showed up.
Coach Zimmer said a minute ago you're playing your best ball since you've been here. Would you agree with that? And why do you think it's just these last 3 weeks for you? It's just all seems to have come together.
Yeah, I'm not into comparing, but I think our coaches have done a great job with game plans and with play calling and with keeping us in a good position. I think a lot of our third downs today were manageable. We're not in 3rd and 12 over and over, and that makes a big difference in your ability to convert them. And I just felt like when the play calls were coming in, I was in agreement with them so many times, feeling like it was going to give us a great chance. And then we were running the ball proficiently. When you do that, I think it helps a play call and helps a quarterback feel like they're, have the wind at their back a little bit.
When you run the ball that well, how much more dangerous does it make the play action?
Yeah, it's a big deal. Not only the play action game, but you're calling a 1st and 10 run, and the next thing you know, it's 2nd and 3. That keeps your whole playbook available to you. If you get in 2nd and 10, now their defense can call more prevent coverages that if you do want to take a shot, it's not going to be there. So the key is staying ahead of the chains where they have to call, defenses that load the box so that then we can take shots and be successful. And it was so key over and over again to even stay out of 3rd downs. We're not having to convert 5 or 6 on a drive because we're going 1st, 2nd down, 1st, 2nd down, 1st, 2nd down. That's a big deal.
What is it like when you're in the midst of a stretch where I think today you had 4 straight drives with them for touchdowns?
Well, it's a positive. It was a positive day. We moved the football and scored points and did well in the red zone and did fairly well on 3rd down. There's always a couple I want back. I think of a specific series. I think we went 3 and out. I think there were 2 throws we had there on that drive. But all in all, it was very positive. And, we just now got a short week and got to come back and get to work again.
How high is your confidence right now? I mean, not to suggest it was low before, but how high is it now?
There's no meter. I'm just staying steady. You know, I'm the same guy. You got to prove it every week. You empty this bucket out. You know, when I go back tomorrow morning, I take my file folder of Lion stuff, I put it in a bin. Okay, it sits next to me, and then I empty my binder and I start over again. So you flush it, you move on, you learn from it, whatever the game called for, and then you get back to work, and you don't really ride a confidence roller coaster. You just stay the course.
Later in the fourth quarter, it looked like you were just going to run the ball out, and you throw a bomb. Was that a check, or what were your reaction when you heard the play call?
Yeah, it was what we call 4-minute offense, where we're just trying to make them use timeouts, but you also realize that there's a good chance you're going to be punting back to them, and they'll have a chance to tie the game because of the number of timeouts they have plus the 2-minute warning. And they were loading the box, you know, with all out. There was no safety help. It was that corner had to defend Stefon Diggs across 53 yards of field and 80 yards deep. And, you know, we just felt like, hey, we don't want to punt back to them and give them a chance to tie or win this game. So let's take advantage of the fact that they're going to load the box and call a play that puts Diggsy in a position to get open. And he did a great job, you know, getting separation, catching it, and getting us down inside the 5.
How important was it to get the tight ends going the way you did today?
Yeah, that was key. That was important. That'll be a big part of our offense. You know, we have 3 tight ends on the field a lot. We ask them to protect. We ask them to run block. We ask them to run the entire route tree. And I can't say enough about the way all 3 of them contribute. And, you know, I think if anything is tough with only one football, that you got 3 tight ends, 3-4 receivers, you know, multiple tailbacks. Even our fullback got involved today and has shown what he can do. So we got a lot of people that we like to use and try to, you know, through that make defenses have to defend a lot of people.
Ron, one thing that really stands out from Kirk Cousins right there, even after 3 great games, he still says you got to prove it each and every week. This is the NFL. Granted, what's standing out about Kirk Cousins right now to you?
Well, I'm glad that he understands that. It is, but true, he's going to sit back and think about the moment for a little bit. And like you said, you put it in the bin, you move on, because in 3 days, you have to prepare for the Washington Redskins to come to town. But, I mean, you look at the stats that he's doing right now. He's the first passer in NFL history with 300 yards in 3 games and a passer rating of 130 or higher in 3 consecutive games. And
what a change from the Bears game, by the way.
But in those 3 games, 68 for 90, 75.5% completions, almost 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Why? Because I'm not giving him credit for that one. That was off Stefon Diggs' head. And then 139.4 passer rating in those 3 straight weeks. The biggest difference, the chip on his shoulder. If he had that same edge against the Bears, I think they win that game because it was 6-16. It wasn't a blowout. He's made a huge leap as far as just being a little bit more aggressive now.
And a lot of people noticing the play action game too. Connor right here says, where did this come from? Ron, what's working so well for the play action as a whole whenever you're talking about the Vikings offense?
Well, the one key about Peyton Manning was he always would make it look like it was a handoff. I think the offensive line is doing a good job of making it look like a handoff. Why? Because the run game is very, very good, and it is a zone run. So meaning they're running lateral. So it's not a full like ISO block. It's a lateral run anyway. So it looks the same to the defensive line and the linebackers, and that's why they're getting sucked in, and then guys are coming out on the back end wide open, or Diggs is one-on-one down the field.
Mike Zimmer has to be very pleased with his offense right now. His defense, maybe not so much. Some penalties, some big pass plays, including 4 touchdowns to Marvin Jones Jr. Here's more from the Vikings head coach after this win over the Lions.
All right, I thought we played excellent offensively today. I thought Kirk had a heck of a ball game, made some great throws. Diggs obviously had a big day, and Cookie with some of the runs that he made. It was really outstanding defensively. You know, we had way too many penalties, and I obviously didn't do a good enough job preparing him for some of the passing game that we got today. So we got to clean that up, get ready in a short week, and get back to US Bank Stadium and get our crowd involved in this short week. And but it was a darn good win on the road. You know, we keep finding ways to win, different ways to win, and that's important for us.
What has this offense rolled so well the last 3 weeks?
You know, we're running the ball and we're play action pass, and you know we're converting on 3rd downs. Pocket's been clean. The offensive line's been playing with you know, great intensity, and so you know we're just keep trying to get better every day.
Was this the best you've seen Dalvin generating yards? I mean, I think he had like 6 yards a carry today.
I don't know that's the best. He's pretty good. Dalvin's pretty good. The run he had on the last touchdown was a great run.
How about the way that
best 2-yard run I've seen in a long time.
How about the Kirk Cousins, the way that his confidence is just snowballing? 3 straight games, over 300 yards, no turnovers the last 3 games, that sort of thing.
Yeah, he's playing very free right now. He's letting the ball loose. You know, even on some of the incompletions, he's putting the ball in a good place.
How important have those long drives been? I think it's 3 straight weeks of 98, 88, and then 97.
Yeah, well, we like them to be shorter. So, but when you can do that, you know, I felt like you know, there was times that they were tired during the game, and we were tired on defense too. So, you know, those kind of things help when you can continue to hold the ball and possess the ball like we did. It was good.
You mentioned Kirk. Just how impressive has it been the way that he's sort of put that struggles in Chicago behind him and delivered 3 good games now in a row?
Yeah, he's played very well. You know, he's playing the best I've seen him play, you know, since he's been here, obviously. And you know, it's a credit to him. It's a credit to offensive coaches what they're doing. And you know, I feel like we're playing to his strength.
Nice to bring the ball on. PC Johnson gets his first touchdown, and CJ Ham gets 2 of them. I mean, it's good to get that confidence going too when Adam Thielen goes down.
Yeah, yeah. You never want to lose a guy like Adam, but you know, those other guys stepped up, and you know, the tight ends got involved today. Kyle had a touchdown, and Irv had a couple catches. So you know, the more that we can mix it around, the less that, you know, you tend to get double coverage. You know, I believe they were in double coverage on Diggs on the one that Kyle got the touchdown on, and they missed the coverage.
Like to be as effective as you were on 3rd downs today, how much of that was making the conversions there, and how much of that was putting yourself in favorable down and distance for some of the shorter ones?
Well, obviously that's important. You know, the real long 3rd downs are hard to convert. And so, you know, the more times that you can get, you know, you know, if you look at the stats on the 3rd downs, the 3rd and 2, 1s and 2s and up to 4, you know, they're always pretty high. So, you know, we're always trying to get in that area.
Mike, what did you feel like coverage-wise was the big issue against Stafford today?
You know, I don't know. I'll have to look at the tape. I just felt like we weren't tight enough. You know, we changed coverages all day long. We gave, you know, some 2 deep, some 3 deep, some 2 on one side and 2 on the other, some man. We played, I mean, a lot of different things. You know, we missed a couple of the play actions in the first half, and actually in the second half I felt pretty good about it. You know, we gave them the 1 field goal and then until they get the touchdown at the end, but we had to make some adjustments at halftime because we weren't covering enough. And then, you know, at the end, the one drive that was, you know, they got the touchdown on and went for 2, that was, you know, we can play a lot better than that. Okay, thanks.
Mike Zimmer very impressed by his offense, his defense. You just heard him say, I know we can play a lot better. A lot of big numbers put up on the scoreboard and in the stat sheet. What's one that really stands out to you from this game?
Well, 1-4-2. That was Dalvin Cook's rushing and Diggs' passing.
Yeah.
They were exactly the same number. So 142 stands out to me, but also 1-0-4, which is 1 for 4 on 3rd downs in the second half. The defense starting out 5 for 7 in the first half, and everybody's like, oh, here we go again. This 3rd down defense is not looking good. We said in the pregame show.
Yep.
Second half, Mike Zimmer fixed it, turned it around a little bit. Some glaring holes there on some tight coverage, but 1 for 4 on 3rd down, 25%. That's how you get back to that 20%, 25% number 1 in the league defense, because I think the Patriots are going to come back to the rest of the field right now.
I'll give you my number, 5 for 5. 5 trips to the red zone, 5 scores.
Good one.
That's a big decision maker whenever you're looking at this game.
zone.
I know you do. Speaking of, you mentioned Dalvin Cook and the numbers he put up. I think we've seen it all season long. We've seen him in the outside zone game. We've seen him in the screen game. Today seemed like he was running a physical type of game.
Yeah, and he's always been physical, but what you saw today was a guy that heard maybe his Madden rating, his power on Madden wasn't that high. Him and Barry Sanders talked about it. Barry Sanders, after the game, gave him the nod, like, hey, we're going to adjust your rating. If you are strong. I mean, one guy's not going to bring Dalvin Cook down. The Lions learned it the first game. I think the second game they're going to
Lions are tackling each other.
They're going to try to fix it. They knocked one guy out of the game.
I know.
He missed. So, but Dalvin Cook's been running with that power. We saw in the Falcons game, ran a guy over. So he's had that power, but today he just seemed like a guy that knew, I'm going up against some 350-pound D tackles. I'm going up against some hard-hit Davis. He's one of the hardest-hitting linebackers I've seen. And so Cook knew, but he bought the hard hat more than the Lions did, and that's why he had the day he had.
And here's more from 3-3 after his huge day.
3 weeks ago in Chicago, we're talking about the offense not being able to produce twice on the road. To be able to do this again now, away from your home building, what does that mean for you guys going forward?
It just means we're getting better. I think guys are not looking at results. They're just grinding and seeing the work and attacking. We're going out here and we just opposing our will on teams. So I think if we just keep honing in on the hard work and the details and getting better, we'll keep getting good results every week.
What do you do personally to try to get ready on that short turnaround for Thursday?
We got to start today. Today is a recovery day. So today I'll be like more of a go watch some more football and just kind of relax. But today is a recovery day, so got to go get the body back right and ready to go tomorrow and get this thing rolling.
How scary can this offense be when it's clicking?
We can be whatever we want to be. We got the guys to do a lot of stuff. AT, Adam Thielen, he went down today, but Olabisi stepped up big time. And you got a young guy like that, it's next man up mentality. So it just shows, man, the coaching and how players are buying in and just how everything is clicking. Like I said, we could be whatever we want to be. We just got to keep going out every week and just working, man. You win the games during the week. You don't win the games on Sunday, in my opinion.
And the chef continues to sizzle, and he's catching the eye of a lot of people with the numbers that he's putting up. Some people even saying perhaps an MVP candidacy? I don't know. 5 100-plus yard games already this season through 7. Kind of speaks for itself right now.
He's leading the NFL right now. He had a 142-yard day. Leonard Fournette was behind him with a 131-yard day, and then McCaffrey was second. So he's still the #1 running back in the NFL right now. I think even without the stats, he looks like the #1 running back with some of his big plays and his ability to after contact. I think that's the one thing. Yards after contact for him has to be one of the top after this game. And, of course, we'll get the numbers after Monday night, but I think Dalvin Cook's still up there for yards after contact as well.
All right, let's go to Ford Field, and that's where Paul Allen and Mike Wobschall are standing by. They have more from these big numbers with their segment.
Is Ben Lieber going to be in the background?
I don't know. Cannot confirm or deny with Between the Lines today.
Hey everyone, what's up? It's Ford Field, it's Hobie, it's voice of the Vikings, Paul Allen. It is the Between the Lines post-game report presented by Gatorade. 42-30, the Minnesota Vikings win. An action-packed up and down affair between the Vikings and the Lions, a matchup that usually is low scoring, not so today. So in a game, Paul, with almost 1,000 yards of offense, 72 points, where do we begin? What stands out?
Well, if I were to identify a favorite thing, I really can't. There is a 1 and a 1A for me.
Okay.
First, Olabisi Johnson, the 7th-round rookie from Colorado State. BC scored his first National Football League touchdown. Think about that. I mean, you're growing up playing football. You're at Colorado State. You keep watching the draft, rounds 4, 5, 6. What's happening? 7th round, you get taken. And then now you're playing more in a game than you think you're going to play because Thielen has to leave. And you score your first National Football League touchdown. I feel so good for the classy and smart, scholarly BC Johnson. The 1A would be the wherewithal by offensive coordinator Kevin Stefanski late in the game, where the Vikings absolutely were going to run, right? 3 tight ends, 1 receiver, Stephon Diggs, a tailback. We're going to run, right? Chew clock. Make all the Lions use timeouts.
Nope.
Nah. Goes play action. Diggs, 65. We get into the winner's circle. It was a gutsy call. It was the right call. And this offense, at one point averaging 75.5 yards per touchdown drive, balanced, multifaceted. Stefanski, Kubiak, staff, Cousins, they're just doing such a great job to complement a Zimmer-led defense that got off to a slow start, couldn't cover Marvin Jones Jr., but eventually did enough to win.
Hey, how about balance for the Minnesota Vikings? Okay, now offensive balance. I mean, kudos to Kevin Stefanski, the offensive coordinator. Bunch of family here. Darrell Bevel on the other side. Kevin Stefanski was raised early on in his career by Darrell Bevel in the offensive meeting room with those Vikings teams in 06, 7, 8, and 9. So great job by Kevin Stefanski. Balanced play calling, runs and passes in this game. When we needed to run, we did. When we needed to pass, we did. But here's more balance for the Vikings, Paul. we're a team which the backbone is our defense. But in a game where we needed 42 points to win, the offense came through. That is also balance.
Well, no doubt. I mean, into the game, the Vikings were giving up 15.5 yards, 15.5 points per game, like 5th in the NFL. The Lions hadn't scored a touchdown against the Vikings since Thanksgiving of 2017. Clearly, with Bevel's leadership and the way Stafford is playing, that was different. Marvin Jones Jr., he was with Cincinnati when Zimmer was the defensive coordinator there. He was unstoppable in the first half. But the Vikings now, granted we're only 6 games into the season, but the Vikings now have an offense where the defense doesn't have to do absolutely everything to win games. Whether it's Cook running, C.J. Ham catching touchdowns, Duluth go crazy, BC getting into the end zone, Diggs on the long one late, Cousins 4 touchdown passes, 2 consecutive weeks, and the Minnesota Moving Company, Riley Reif, Pat Elflein, Garrett Bradbury, Josh Klein, Brian O'Neill, 0 sacks allowed, big-time running game. Great job.
The Redskins are up next. Now, the Redskins got shut out at home this week while we were scoring 42 points. So we're going to be heavy favorites on a short week at home on a Thursday night. So we can't rest on our laurels and think anything's going to be easy. Adrian Peterson, Case Keenum and company come to U.S. Bank Stadium on Thursday night. Should be pretty fun.
Vikings have to win, and I don't care what the point spread is. I don't care what the scenario is. Negatives and naysayers can hit us via Twitter or 9 to noon at KFAN all week. Remember the Bills from last year? Yeah, we were there. We remember it. Okay, whatever. This is a different group, a different team, and a different vibe. The Vikings have 11 rushing touchdowns, okay? That is 2 more than they had all of last season. The vibe is completely different. Beat Washington, get those extra days to chill, go to Kansas City, a 6-2 operation. That's how it has to be.
Bravo, Minnesota Moving Company. The Vikings offensive line paves the way for 42 points and over 500 yards of offense. We love that, and we love winning, and we love victory high fives.
Yes, we do.
All right. That's it for the Between the Lines postgame report presented by Gatorade. On behalf of the voice of the Vikings, Paul Allen, this is Hobie signing off for now. Stay tuned to Vikings.com for more. Skol.
That is some kind of high five. Still have to love it. And you have to love the way the Vikings defense played toward the end of the game, showing up when they had to. No player coming up bigger than Eric Kendrick. Some pass breakups, also a big stop on 4th down. Here's more with EK from the locker room.
You know, I saw the running back. I saw everyone kind of just scatter that way. You know, I knew it was swap immediately. And, you know, I went to my progression, and I just try to stick him real quick. I should have picked it off, honestly, if I would have just, you know, but I had secured the tackle with one hand and then, you know, got the ball with the other hand. Yeah, 4th down off the field, that's great.
Eric, I think it's going to be a physical battle, though, right? You guys are prepared for it and coming at them.
Oh yeah, we knew what kind of loss they were coming off of. We knew they were going to be hungry. We knew what kind of team they are. We know we seen everything on film. You know, they're pretty good on offense. I'm not even gonna lie, and you know, we got it done. You know, we found a way. You know, it wasn't pretty, but we found a way, and I'm excited to play on Thursday.
What's it like watching the offense out there do their thing today?
Man, I feel like they couldn't be stopped. You know, they were spreading. He was spreading the ball out. You know, I saw multiple people get the ball. I mean, everybody get the ball. Fullbacks, tight ends, you know, receivers, deep balls, you know, intermediate. It was great.
All right, Ron, whenever you look at this Vikings defense, they struggled to get pressure on Matthew Stafford in the first half. But in the second half, it seemed like it was a completely different story.
Yeah, I mean, you saw a lot more kind of A-gap. You saw Harry walk up into the box a couple of times. So it was just trying to, I think, confuse Stafford a little bit. You did see some checks to some runs opposite where Harry was at. So I feel like he must have had a call from Patricia like, hey, if Harrison Smith comes up in the box, 9 times out of 10 he's coming. So let's run opposite the blitz. Didn't work, though.
Any major concerns when one wide receiver has 4 touchdowns on you?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, man-to-man coverage, it's tough. It is like one of the toughest things to do, but it is Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones is not a bad receiver. You look at the Redskins, I don't really see anybody on that team that can do that. I look at the Seahawks, I don't really see anybody on there that can do that. And I look at the Chiefs without Pat Mahomes, and same with, I think the only one that kind of jumps out is Amari Cooper and the Cowboys with Dak Prescott. Other than that, the next 4 games, I don't really see that happening. So I think this is just one of those anomaly games where one guy got the best of them. Diggs last week, 3 touchdowns. Marvin Jones this week, 4. So it just happens.
Thursday Night Football, that also happens this week. The Vikings hosting Washington. Should be a great game, even though it's a short week. What's the biggest key for the Vikings with a couple of days rest now.
Put all the pressure on Case Keenum. Like, honestly, Jay Gruden's gone, so they're trying to find this new look Redskins without Jay Gruden for the second half of the season. But you have to put the pressure on Case. Don't let Adrian Peterson have the game he wants to have, because he's been telling these guys since he's been here, if I ever got to play you guys, I'm rushing for 200 yards. Against the Saints, he didn't get to play much. Now he's going to get his chance to rush for 200 yards. So I think they're going to hit him hard, fast, and often. But Case Keenum's the key. If you make Case rattled, he'll throw you a couple interceptions. Sucks to say it, but I don't think there's going to be any miracles in Minneapolis when Case returns.
See what you did there. And look at all the connections. Case Keenum, Adrian Peterson, 2 former Vikings. Oh, by the way, Kirk Cousins facing his former team.
Jay Gruden might show up. He's free. He's not doing
Who knows?
anything.
We'll find out on Thursday night. For Ron Johnson, I'm Hobie Artigue. Thank you very much for joining us on Vikings Postgame. We'll see you next time.